Hello, and welcome to Gentle and Clear English. Here, you will have great experiences with real stories in a clear, slow, and educational way about everyday life in America and around the world. So, enjoy, relax, and learn. In the United States, when a person walks into a grocery store, they usually go straight to what they need: eggs, milk, bread. But lately, many people stop before grabbing those items. They look at the price, then they look again. Something changed. Maybe eggs used to be $2.89. Now they're $4.39. The milk that cost $3.50 is now $5.10. Bread that once was a quiet part of the budget now feels like a luxury. And these aren't isolated examples. These are signs of something deeper happening across the U.S. economy. Prices are climbing. Wages can't always keep up. And Americans, rich, poor, young, old, are feeling the pressure. But why is this happening? There isn't just one answer. In 2025, the U.S. is facing a combination of economic forces that are strong on their own, but even more powerful when combined. These forces are tariffs, jobs, and debt. And while these words might seem like they belong to economists, politicians, or Wall Street experts, they're really about ordinary people. They're about families making decisions at the kitchen table. They're about students taking out loans. They're about small business owners watching their bills rise faster than their sales. They're about you. They're about your wallet. Let's begin with the first word: tariffs. A tariff is a tax on goods that come from other countries. It's something the government adds to the price of imported items. For example, if a car is made in Japan and brought to the U.S., the government might add a 25% tariff. If the original cost of the car is $20,000, the tariff adds $5,000. So now, the total cost is $25,000 before it even reaches the dealership. That's a big difference. And that difference, in most cases, is passed on to the person buying the car. In 2025, Donald Trump is once again running for president. He is promising a major return to tariffs. He says the U.S. has been treated unfairly for decades. He believes that foreign countries are using cheap labor, weak regulations, and smart trade deals to undercut American companies. To stop this, he proposes massive tariffs, 10% on all imports and up to 60% or more on goods from China. In some cases, the tariffs could be even higher. This would be one of the largest tax increases on imports in modern U.S. history. Trump's idea is not new. He used tariffs during his presidency from 2017 to 2021. Back then, he imposed them on steel, aluminum, washing machines, and many Chinese goods. The result was mixed. Some American factories were helped, but American consumers paid more. Farmers suffered. Global supply chains adjusted, and not always in America's favor. This time, the plan is bigger. Trump says that raising tariffs will protect American industries and bring jobs back. But economists say it could lead to inflation again. Inflation means higher prices for everything: clothes, electronics, food, tools, cars, and more. In a country that imports nearly everything in some way, tariffs affect daily life quickly. Now imagine this scenario. A family of 4 buys school supplies in August: backpacks, notebooks, pencils, and tablets. Many of these are made overseas. With high tariffs, the cost of supplies might rise by 15%, to 30%. If they spent $200 last year, this year it might be $260 or more. That might not sound dramatic, but when it happens across every part of life, groceries, gas, appliances, clothes, it adds up, especially for people already living on tight budgets. But tariffs are just one part of the story. Let's now turn to jobs. In 2025, the U.S. economy has added new jobs almost every month. In June alone, 147,000 new jobs were created. That's a sign of strength. The unemployment rate is around 4.1%. More people are working. More people have paychecks. This is good news. But here's the catch. When more people work, more people spend. And when more people spend, demand rises. When demand rises, but supply stays the same or grows slowly, what happens? Prices go up. That's inflation again. This puts the Federal Reserve in a difficult position. The Federal Reserve, or the Fed, is the central bank of the United States. Its job is to keep inflation low and the economy stable. One of the ways it does this is by raising or lowering interest rates. When inflation is high, the Fed raises interest rates to slow down the economy. That makes borrowing money more expensive. And when borrowing becomes expensive, people and businesses borrow less. That slows spending, and hopefully inflation goes down. But this creates another problem. When interest rates are high, it's harder to buy a home. Mortgage payments are bigger. It's harder to get a car loan. Credit card bills grow faster. Small businesses struggle to expand. College becomes more expensive for students using loans. In other words, high interest rates cool inflation, but they also cool your ability to move forward. So the job market may look strong, but the cost of living keeps rising. People work more, but feel like they're running in place. They don't feel richer. They feel squeezed. They feel tired. They feel anxious. That's the hidden pain behind good job numbers. Now let's move to the third piece of this puzzle. Debt. In 2025, the U.S. national debt is over $34 trillion. That number is hard to imagine. To give perspective, if you spent $1 every second, it would take you more than 1 million years to reach $34 trillion. It's that large, and it's getting bigger. The government continues to borrow money to pay for programs, military spending, health care, education, and infrastructure. Some of this is necessary. Countries borrow to invest in their future. But when debt grows too fast, it becomes dangerous. The U.S. must pay interest on this debt. In 2025, the government is paying over $1 trillion per year just in interest. That money doesn't build anything. It doesn't help anyone directly. It just keeps the system running. It's like paying the minimum on a giant credit card bill. Forever. This massive debt has another effect. It weakens the U.S. dollar. In the first half of 2025, the dollar fell more than 11% compared to other major currencies. That's the biggest drop in decades. When the dollar weakens, imports become more expensive. That means more inflation. That means higher gas prices, higher prices for electronics, for fruits and vegetables from other countries, even for items sold in U.S. stores that depend on global materials. A weak dollar also affects confidence. Investors start to worry. Will the U.S. always be a safe place to put money? Will the dollar stay strong? If the answer becomes no, the country could face a financial crisis. This sounds extreme, but history shows us it's possible. When these three forces, tariffs, jobs, and debt, come together, they don't just exist in separate boxes. They interact. They amplify each other. Tariffs make goods more expensive. A strong job market pushes up demand, which also raises prices. High prices lead to higher interest rates, which slow down some parts of the economy, but don't stop inflation completely. Government debt puts pressure on the dollar, making imports more expensive, which again fuels inflation. It's a circle, a cycle, and the person caught in the middle is the everyday American, the one trying to make rent, trying to afford a vacation, trying to save for college, trying to retire, trying to stay afloat. And what makes it more difficult is that these issues are not always visible. They don't make a sound when they enter your wallet. They don't knock on your door. They're just there, hidden in higher prices, smaller paychecks, longer loan terms, and missed opportunities. So what can be done? There are no perfect answers. Some economists say tariffs are necessary to stop China's unfair trade practices. Others say tariffs are taxes that hurt the poor the most. Some believe the government must stop spending so much. Others say cutting programs will hurt families and the elderly. Some want lower interest rates now. Others say that would create more inflation. There is disagreement at every level. But you, as a citizen, as a consumer, as someone trying to understand the world in English, have something powerful: knowledge. The more you understand these forces, the more prepared you are. You can make smarter choices. You can recognize how prices are changing. You can see how policies affect your daily life. You can explain to your family and friends what's happening. And you can vote, not just with your ballot, but with your dollars, with your attention, with your voice. And while we don't control national debt, or interest rates, or tariffs, we can control how we respond to them. We can stay alert. We can adapt. We can learn. That's why this channel exists. To give you English that matters. English that helps you navigate the world. English that teaches, not just vocabulary, but life. Economic stories are real stories. Behind every number, there is a person, a parent, a student, a worker, a retiree. Maybe that person is you. Thank you for listening, for learning, and for being part of Gentle and Clear English. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, the more you understand the world, the more clearly you can shape your future. Take care, and see you in the next lesson.